Oh man, we are back this Sunday only on the Undisputed GOAT podcast. We have one hell of a show tonight to bring to you, man. And look, it's been an exciting time during the sports world, man. We got baseball season kicking off, and in the thick of it at this point, we have the WNBA getting off to a great start. But we all know that the star attraction for this evening is going to be the NBA Finals and the Western Conference Finals, especially that exciting ass Game 7 where we just saw between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs. But before we get into that, I must introduce the cast and the owners of the Undisputed GOAT podcast, BRF Sports and Flash 22, live from Wisconsin. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you, BRF?
Oh man, my daughter's home, so I'm happy.
There you go.
I'm happy. I'm good. I hate it. I had because of circumstances changing. I had to go all the way to West Virginia this time. Oh boy, had to go all the way to West Virginia, but she didn't know we was coming, so it was a really good surprise. Got back at like midnight. I was supposed to work Saturday, but I'm like, yeah, no, not going. So I've pretty much been resting the whole weekend. So yeah, things going good. Things going really good. Like I said, she's home, so I'm happy.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hey, man, it's good to be back, man. And look, I want to personally thank somebody on this great internet today. Wimby, thank you personally for saving us from another flopping ass NBA Finals. All of the flopping and I mean, it's kind of like, seeing Sonic the Hedgehog fall when he falls on the spikes, in Sonic 1. I mean, it's just like, except nothing hits him, one of those phantom hits that you get hit by one of the little birds or something. Everything is just kind of crazy. I'm so happy we don't have to see another damn round of that. And everybody's saying that it's bad for basketball. Stephen A., although his credibility is shaky at this point at best, but Colin Cowherd, all of the respected journalists are saying that this is bad for basketball as far as the flopping is concerned. Now, we all know flopping has always been a part of the game. You're always going to try to sell it. I mean, Reggie Miller used to do that when he played the New York Knicks. Remember the headbutt by John Starks and, him acting like he just died on the floor. But, I mean, at this point, it's like flopping is getting bad. And when you are just looking for the whistle every damn play, it gets to a point where it's just nasty. So speaking of the whistle, I have to ask my favorite two guys to do podcasts with this question. I must, because Oklahoma City Thunder fans are going to say, well, injuries this and injuries that. Well, if that's the case, you need to go ahead and fly to Indiana and give Tyrese Halliburton your trophy that you won last year. Let's just be clear about that. But I got to ask this. Were the Thunder exposed after the refs swallowed their whistle?
No, the Spurs were just better. Like I said, the Spurs are just better. They weren't just exposed. The Spurs were just better. They out OKC'd OKC without including in like the the fouling or the drawing the calls and all that other stuff. Defense, 3-point shooting, and playmaking. That's pretty much OKC in a nutshell. So and San Antonio pretty much out OKC'd them. Like OKC's known for being able to shoot the three with a lot of guys. They have depth. And San Antonio was able to match that. And really, they really just kind of you could just see the mentality of the San Antonio Spurs going into Game 7, knowing what was on the line, and he went out and did it. Whether it was Champagnie hitting threes, Devin Vassell hitting threes, Keldon Johnson hitting threes, Wemby hitting threes, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper. Like they were all making shots last night. So I don't think it's really an exposing or anything. I felt San Antonio was a better team. And they showed it these last 2 games. I felt like San Antonio was the one team that could really match OKC from a player by player standpoint in terms of depth, being able to shoot the ball, playing defense, pretty much everything that OKC has been known for. This core team with SGA and Chet, and even though Jalen Williams wasn't out there last night, he's been a cog in this. Them winning the championship last year, getting back to the conference finals this year. So San Antonio just really outdid them. They outplayed them. I don't think it was really an exposing because honestly, I mean, SGA still went off last night. I mean, he was still getting his. I mean, we just need to, you know, we need to create a bolo and go look for the corpse of Chet Holmgren is what we need to do after last night because that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. I mean, to get the kind of money to get paid like a $300 million contract, to get the money that you got. And don't get me wrong, Chet had a year, 3rd team All NBA, 1st team All Defense, set career highs in points and rebounds. The first 2 playoff series, I mean, he had really good playoff series, especially against the Lakers. He went like 20. I mean, it's DeAndre Ayton, but even still, he went off.
Should have had me on him.
But still, point being said, you still got to go out there and play. Chet Holmgren went for 20 and 10 in that series. I mean, showed up, and then in the Western Conference Finals, just took a dive. Took it on Dwayne.
Get your ass off this internet. No, this dude just didn't say that he looked like Abraham Lincoln. Get your ass off this internet, bro.
Well,
I can't get that. I'm never gonna get that out my head. Flash ain't even looking at the camera no damn more.
because he can actually see it, and now he doesn't. Now he wants to unsee it. That's why. But
he got his ass John Wilkes Booth during that series. Do I tell you that?
Well, I mean, well, he needs to find his game 4 scored 7 years ago, but that's a whole nother conversation now. That was probably like one of the most like you are like the option 2 in that game, and 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 shots. Nah, I will say this though. This. Wait
a minute.
Put him up. Yeah, we gotta put that up for the world to see. We gotta put that up.
Hold on.
Oh Lord. Hold on, people. Oh Lord.
Hold on, man. I gotta
give him the solo. If you give him the solo,
I'm trying to give you the solo.
He's trying to give you the solo screen of what he's trying to do. Hold on. He got to click over to you. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's horrible. There it is. Wow. Man.
Let the folks see it one more time.
That's horrible. All right. There it is.
Oh my God.
Horrible.
Damn.
That's horrible.
That is amazing, bro. Anything. That is why we call this the uncensored show, because any damn thing can happen.
That's why I was looking down at my phone, just because I was going to find something funny.
That was so. But to finish up real quick though, man, that was probably one of the most. I mean, you've pretty much been linked with Wemby since like almost like AAUs, pretty much, and y'all pretty much. I don't want to say like going neck for neck, but y'all like when y'all play, you know, it's a big deal when y'all 2 get together, and you show up like that in the game 7, and it's crazy because like game 7 in the NBA Finals last year, this man goes 18, 9, and 5 blocks, and was one of the main reasons why they beat the Pacers after Tyrese Halliburton got hurt. He was one of the main reasons why they won the championship last year, and they go out and have that type of performance. That's bad. But I will say this though, a lot of this discourse that I'm seeing about Chet, let's not lie to the public. Chet's still a really good player. He had a bad series against San Antonio, but let's not.
He's 24 years old.
Exactly. No crazy discourse. Like I was in, like I said, I'm in an Atlanta Discord. I'm in the Falcons Discord, but we talk about all the sports. And there's some people talking about some, nah, I wouldn't take Chet. I'm like, you're lying. If they offered up Chet Holmgren up on a silver platter right now, you're taking him 10 times out of 10. Stop lying. Just stop lying. You would take him. You would take 18, 9, 55% from the field, like 37% from 3, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 3rd team All NBA, 1st team All Defense. You taking that 10 times out of 10. Don't lie to the people. Just because he had a bad series, don't change the fact that he's He's still a beast. He just had a horrible series. So let's stop this discourse about Chet Holmgren. But yeah, man, San Antonio was just they were just a better team, and I just saw it from I personally saw it from a matchup perspective. I just thought they were the better team.
Flash.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Thank God. I don't know if they were exposed. I don't know if exposed is the right word. Like, they're still a really great basketball team. Like, I think that's what a lot of people have been complaining about for the last couple of years. Is like they don't need to do this. Are there some stats to back up that SGA isn't as good as he is without the free throw attempts? Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, he still went and got his last night, but I think there's a little bit of, do I think they're like dynasty level good? No, but I think they're a championship contender good without all the flopping and the ref calls and everything like that. So I don't think exposed is the right term. I just think they are who we think they are, or they should be. I guess that's more accurate, I think. And BRF is right. I think San Antonio's just better. We've talked about Wemby on this show and how he basically defies physics. Like, he shouldn't be able to do the things he does at the size he is. So when a dude that size can basically pull up from the logo and drain a three, that's a problem. Not to mention, I just want to point out, like, his supporting cast was like fantastic last night.
They were lights out.
Like, they were they played with anger and like aggression, and they were like, and what's so impressive about this team is they're all so young. Like, there shouldn't be a 22-year-old in Victor Wemby that should be in a finals this quick. I mean, Devin Vassell is 25. Hold on, my internet's being funky. Stephon Castle is 21, and he was playing like a 6-year veteran yesterday.
Yeah,
on Saturday. So, like,
shout out to Covington, Georgia. By the way, Stephon Castle is from Covington, Georgia.
He's from Covington.
Yeah, he's from Covington, about 25 minutes away from where I live at. Shout out to Covington, Georgia. He is from Covington, Georgia.
Oh, hell yeah. Shout out. Hey, man, them Georgia boys, we know how to hoop, baby. We know how to play ball, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, Dylan Harper, he's 20 years old. 20! And he played 27 minutes last night in a game 7.
Oh,
20 years old.
That three he took to pretty much ice it. Oh, my God.
Yeah! Julian, he's 24. The oldest guy they have right now is Harrison Barnes, who played 3 minutes. He's 34. And let's just take a Harrison Barnes out of it. The other oldest guy they have is De'Aaron Fox. He's only 28.
28.
Yeah, 28, De'Aaron Fox. Think about how cursed that the Sacramento Kings are feeling right about now, because they had De'Aaron Fox for so many years, was able to do anything with him. They had Mike Brown, one coach of the year, and then they fired him the very, very next year. Passed up on Luka and drafted Marvin Bagley.
Tyrese Halliburton was De'Aaron Fox's backup.
Yes. So, imagine how bad that they feel right about now with all of the misfortune that they had, dating all the way back to Chris Webber, the great Chris Webber, tearing his ACL. It's not been good for the Sacramento Kings.
All right, Laker fan.
So,
I Laker fan. Y'all still should have lost that. Y'all still should have lost that conference final. Y'all still should have lost that conference final.
Yeah, we probably should have, but still.
Probably.
Probably should have.
Besides the Bucks and Sixers.
We should have. I mean, I'm going to just be real. We should have lost that one. And they was better than us. Had Chris Webber not got hurt, they would have beat us the next year. But unfortunately for us, Chris Webber got hurt. He tore his ACL at the beginning of the season, and it was all downhill from there for the Queens. So, man, yeah.
But in just I do want to point something. I don't agree with all the talk about the Chet thing. Like, oh man, this is the same thing that we talked about that happened. This smells very reminiscent of the Harden conversation when Harden was still with OKC and it was Durant and I'm blanking.
Westbrook, thank
you. And like, oh, he's not gonna. He can't be a starter, and he disappears in the playoff. Like, we're so quick to dismiss it. Now, don't get me wrong, that kind of followed Harden his whole career, so that was kind of a valid conversation. But you're not looking for Chet Holmgren to be a number one guy. That's the funny thing. Like, but now I'm of the opinion that I don't think he's going anywhere. But does this give a little bit more ammo to OKC trading for Giannis?
I think it does, even though I don't think they're going to do it. I wouldn't say ammo, but I think it kind of they can. Right now, they got their toes in the water. I think with this, they can kind of put their whole foot in the water as far as like thinking about the trade.
You need a Wemby stopper.
You do,
because that's essentially what's stopping you from going is Wemby. That's it. Like, there's no other team right now in the West that really is going to give OKC a real run for their money right now with their depth and everything. Like, LA is LA, no offense, champ. Like, they're not just
we're not contenders.
They're not contenders right now. I mean, you have Denver, but unfortunately, I think their window is starting to close. Like, they're going to have to make adjustments as a team. Minnesota really has to. I don't think they have to evaluate what they do, but they're still very young too. So, like, at this point, like, it's OKC in the San Antonio show, and they need a Wemby stopper. And if I'm OKC, and they have enough ammo to give up to get them for not nothing, but give them without like sacrificing a ton of depth. Whether he fits in that team and how they could, that's another story. But I think it gives a little bit of ammo because I am still of the opinion until I see the scroll across the bottom of the notification on my phone that Giannis has been traded by the Milwaukee Bucks. I will not believe it until I see it, and it's going to have to be. I don't think the Bucks will trade him for pennies on the dollar unless he absolutely wants to leave. And I don't think that coaching hire was by accident at all. So, but I also think this gives it a little bit more ammo. And I don't think he's going to go to anything but a contender.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's one of those teams is that he's rumored to want to play with is the Knicks, but they'd have to gut their whole fucking team to see him.
Exactly. If he goes, you're probably at the very least. Cat's in the trade. Mikal Bridges is in the trade. At the very least.
Yeah. So if I'm Giannis, you have two places. You either stick in Milwaukee and you be an all-timer with Milwaukee, and you be a hometown boy for the rest of your career, there's no shame in that at all, especially because since you brought Milwaukee a title, or you go to OKC. Or San Antonio. I mean, San Antonio's another one, but I don't know how you.
San Antonio's not gutting their core
now, especially.
Hell no, I wouldn't
especially. You just got to the finals. You're not gutting your core for. You're not
gutting your 28 and under team.
Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. You're looking at the very least, like I would say a San Antonio trade is going to be centered around Dylan Harper, and they're not giving him up.
No.
Come to death row.
No.
Come to death row.
No.
Giannis.
Stay away from death row. Do not go.
Come to death row.
Do not go to death row.
He can't afford them. LeBron would have to take a pay cut, and he doesn't want to.
Oh, he out of that next year.
Atlanta.
I think he's going to clean him.
Atlanta makes more sense than the Lakers, but we're not giving up Jalen Johnson.
I wouldn't give up Jalen Johnson either. So
exactly.
That's the problem. That's the only team that has enough ammo that wouldn't kill themselves when it comes to depth is OKC. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I mean, give up two. You could give up like 2, 3. Atlanta has the 8th pick.
That's not high enough.
But No, see what? No,
Unless there's a ton after-
the eighth pick isn't high enough by itself.
No, but I'm saying unless there's a ton with that, then that's a discussion. But
well, Atlanta's got 2 firsts this year. They got 8 and 23.
Give them both of them, and then we give them another one next year.
But the thing is, you're gonna give up Jalen Johnson, and you're not doing that.
yeah, you're gonna have to give up a young
Or give them Jonathan Kuminga.
Hell no, they're not taking Jonathan Kuminga. No.
And even if you give up a 1 next year, that's going to be a high 1.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I want that? If I'm Milwaukee, why do I want that?
And if you're Atlanta, you're basically like the worst. I think next year you're getting the worst. You're getting the worst of the Bucks Pelicans again next year. So you're possibly looking at another top 5.
Yep. So
yeah.
Yep. It's gonna be an interesting offseason, man. And look, speaking of offseason, man, the June 1st begins the NFL offseason. So we got a lot of things that's gonna be going on tomorrow. So we will be covering that on the Undisputed GOAT podcast next Sunday. So keep your eyes open, guys. But as we proceed to give you what you need and give you another little taste of how, as we stay in the NBA at this point in time, gotta ask y'all something. This is a quick this is a 30-second pop.
Mm-hmm.
Is this Spurs OKC series capable of being the rivalry that the Lakers versus the Spurs were back in the 2000s?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You go, Flash.
Yeah. I think the potential's there. I think you could definitely see, because both teams are young enough. That's the nice thing. I mean, even if you look at OKC, I mean, SGA he's only 27.
Yeah.
You know, and we were talking about Chet before. He's only 24. You know, and if they go get Giannis, I know Giannis would be old, but let's just say as is right now. I mean, Dort, how old's Dort? Dort's 27.
Jalen Williams, he's like 20. He's around the same age as Chet, I think.
Yeah, he's 20. He's 23. He's even a year younger. So and he he'll be 24 in next month. But yeah, I don't see. I could see it. I think the West right now. You look at their top. You got Luka, Jokic, Wemby, and SGA in the same conference. That's pretty. And Ant. I mean, like Ant. Like the amount of star power in the West is really insane. So. Not only just could you see a great rivalry like how you're talking about Lakers and San Antonio, like we could see something even better with the depth of like star power in the West.
Well, questions like this, like if we go back to a previous question, this is why I agree with the idea of OKC and San Antonio being potentially dynasty level good. For me, a team that qualifies as dynasty level good means at the absolute most only one team can beat you. And if that team can't beat you, then you're pretty much a shoo-in to either get to the finals or win the finals. That's why I think OKC and San Antonio right now at this point to me are dynasty level good, because I don't think there are teams in the West outside of those two that can give each other fits. So I absolutely think that potential is there for them to have like what the Lakers and Spurs rivalry was, and it's beating the daylights out of each other and then alternating championships. I definitely think this has that kind of potential.
All right. I think this has the potential to be a great rivalry, if you really want me to be honest with you, especially considering the history of these two teams. I mean, and the front offices, because I think, hey, let's just be all the way a buck. SGA said the quiet part out loud that we've been saying for the last umpteen years. We've been saying it on this show, because they asked him, will you be putting any input on this team during the offseason? And he said in no uncertain term, no, I will not. I will let Sam Presti, the greatest general manager of all time, do his job. Considering that they have him in that front office and R.C. Buford, in the other front office, that being the San Antonio Spurs, and they're only in their third year in the Wemby era. This is going to be because you're going to have to replenish because some of these players are going to leave. But if anybody can do that, it's the Spurs. They're going to find the right free agent. They're going to find the right role player when some of these young players start leaving in order to get fat ass contracts. Because once these guys start making, you can't pay everybody $300 million. So let's just be clear.
I'm scared of what Wemby's gonna command, bro.
Could we see the first $500 million contract in the NBA?
It's about as close as you're gonna get.
Can we see that? The first 6-year, $500 million deal, $100 million a year.
Depends. I think it depends on a lot of it. I think a lot of it is like accolades and achievements as well.
Yeah.
But if
He's already made all NBA.
You know what I'm saying? If he starts racking up all NBAs, defensive player of the years, all defenses, and let's say he puts a championship on it this year with the cherry on top, good God.
I think he's going to do something that I think he's going to take less money. I think he's going to pull a Brady.
I can see that.
I can see that too.
I just got the watching that team react to when they won Game 7. I have a feeling that that crew is going to want to stick together, and the only way that happens if Wemby doesn't take $1 gazillion. I'm hoping for it. I was hoping that Giannis would do that in Milwaukee. I thought he would do that. I thought he would be the one that would go you know what? I'm not gonna take that much. I want this. And he did a little bit when they re-signed Middleton, but I'm talking about where he takes significantly less. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see. I don't know. I think it's going to happen. I think because they're going to have to shell out a ton of money to keep that youth together. So if I'm Wemby, that's what I do, because you're going to make your money, and every dollar in your contract in general is guaranteed anyways. Mm-hmm. Not to mention you probably have a massive insurance policy on you too. So if something catastrophically goes wrong, you're covered. And you're gonna keep winning. You're gonna make your money. So I'm Wemby. I make sure that I have Castle and Vassell and a whole team, Dylan Harper, that whole team together as long as you can.
Yeah, we're going to get to that later. PSP. Shout out to Sports PSP. The Sports PSP podcast had a hell of a show this past Friday, but we're going to get to that a little bit later. Look, to Flash's point, the cornerstone of that, both cornerstones of the franchises, both of them, David Robinson and Tim Duncan, took less money.
Yeah,
even when they were at their peak, they all took less money in order to keep those teams together. You know, especially when Manu got there. You know, so I mean, yeah, they took less money, and so yeah, they was able to keep those teams together for years.
Yeah,
and so don't be surprised if that happens. And look, Jalen Bronson, he took less money. He took like a $150 million pay cut in order to keep the team together. So
players are starting to do it because they're starting to realize the fact that they're going to make their money. Like at some point, you know, money's you're just the money's pointless. Like after a certain point, you know, what is an extra $100 million on top of $250 million? What is it really going to get you extra in life? So if you really care about your legacy, what?
Hey! Ooh.
No, come on. You didn't. No, come on. Come on. Say hey.
That's up already. You might as well just keep going.
Say, come on. Come on. You might well come on and say hey. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Say hey.
Hi.
Hello. How you doing?
Good.
How's it going?
Hey, you said, how's it going?
Good.
You glad to be home with Dad?
You said you're glad to be home with me? Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Precious moments like this never cease to amaze me, man. Hey, shout out to both these great men on this show.
All right. I'll let you
Hellified
when I'm done,
fathers,
okay? Shut my door.
hellified girl dads. I salute both of you. Hey, I salute both of y'all, man. Every time I say, and look, let's not forget, in 22 days, Father's Day will be here. So I will be playing a special tribute on that show that day, not only to my father, but these gentlemen to my left, your right, because every time I see them, they're with their children and they're mentioning their children. And when you look at Flash, when you look at BRF, you see nothing but great examples of fatherhood. And there's no hood harder than fatherhood. Shout out to Blueface. So I mean, fatherhood, you get a lot of blame. You don't get enough credit. Father's Day is the least celebrated holiday in the history of mankind. In fact, Arbor Day is celebrated more than Father's Day. I just now found that out like 3 weeks ago. So, and if you care about some damn trees more than you care about a person, that's some shit right there. But I digress. Shit, you can't even get credit over a tree now. So that's but
The burden we bear.
exactly. Are we officially in the Wemby era now that he's in the finals? You know, we've been waiting on this moment where he's in the playoffs. And look, I'm going to just be real. I think that his impact, if he wins this one, this is bigger than Tim Duncan's first one. I know that people are going to say, well, how can you say that? Look, there was already a team established there before Tim Duncan got there. You already had an MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year. You already had Sean Elliott, Avery Johnson, Mario Elie. You already had a Greg Popovich there. Matter of fact, when Dennis Rodman was there, they had the best record in the league twice, 2 years in a row. They just were not able to get over the hump. Tim Duncan was that final piece of that organization. Wemby is the cornerstone. Wemby is the cornerstone. It started and ended. It started and ended with him. When the Spurs didn't have anything for years, when they got Wemby, guess what? That's when it started. And he's on his third year. Now, that's not to say that the other players didn't play a role, but the cornerstones is Wemby. When Duncan got there, the other cornerstones of their franchise were already there. You already had an MVP, an Hall of Famer that was there waiting on you. So I think that this era would be bigger, even bigger than Tim Duncan's first one. So with that being said, I think we're officially in the Wemby era, especially if he's able to win this title. And like I said, I think this will be more impactful than Tim Duncan's first one. And like I stated, the only reason why I say that is because cornerstones of that franchise were already there before he got there. Remember, the reason why they got that number one overall pick is because David Robinson got hurt that year. I think he hurt his leg or his back that year, and you lucked out, and you got Tim Duncan. So he was the finishing touch on the franchise. Wemby was the cornerstone on the franchise because you knew when Wemby got there, boom, stuff was going to start changing. And he's in his third year. So what do you guys think?
I kind of forgot to mention too, like just because Pop isn't the coach anymore doesn't mean he doesn't have a huge influence over that franchise still.
Yeah.
You built Champ. You said something last week this is very similar to the Patriots organization, and I've said it for years that San Antonio and New England, the way that they were built and the way that they are very, very, very similar actually. And this is kind of mirroring the resurgence of what the Patriots did. Now, hopefully, the outcome will be a little different for San Antonio, but this will be, this is a massive. Are we in his era? Yeah, I think so. I mean, as long as he stays healthy, knock on wood, we are in a great. I mean, it's going to be a real fun next decade, essentially.
Oh man, I definitely yeah, I definitely think we're in the Victor Wembanyama era. I really do. I just I just look at how he's just gradually taking those steps, year one, year two, to now, where we're talking about him being, the best player in the league right now, which I think he's the best player in the league right now. And I'm pretty sure there's quite a few people that share those sentiments. Just looking at how completely how much of a total package he is as a player, but then adding on to the fact that he's 7'5", like he's like one of the most insane. It's like one of the most insane prototypes of a basketball player we've ever seen. I think it's the most insane prototype of a player we've ever seen. I mean, like Flash said it earlier. No reason for you to be that tall and to be able to do the things that you can do on a basketball court and do it as fluent and as effortlessly as you can do it. I mean, it's insane. It's insane what he's capable of on a night in, night out basis. I think, I definitely think. I think this is the Wemby era because I do think he's the because
Sorry.
I do think you're good because I do think he's the I think he's slowly becoming like I think he's the face of this like I think it's crazy that he's coming to the league 3 years and you can kind of say he's the face of this like he might be the face of this new generation of just players that might be, like the NBA. I think is going to be in really, really good hands with this core collection of players that we're seeing, coming into the league now. Whether it's Wemby, you still have Luka, you have Ant, you have Jalen Johnson, you have SGA. I mean, you have all of these just brimming talents that are just that are like absolute franchise cornerstones that in some cases are competing for a championship. In other cases, you might be like the right piece or two might just vault you into the conversation for at the very least a conference championship. So I definitely think this league is in good hands, at least for the next 5 to 10 years with this collection of talent that's coming into the league. And like I said, it's just crazy that Wemby being in year 3 might be already the face of this new generation of talent. I think it's insane how quick his come up has been. But I mean, you could kind of, not saying you could predict it, but just how polished his game was coming over from France, but just kind of needing that extra polishing, that extra work, that extra development. And now you just see it on a night in, night out basis. So I definitely think we're in the Wembanyama era, but at the same time, like I think the league, I don't think there's really like diminishing returns as far as like really, really good players in the league. I think this generation of talent with him being at the forefront, I think we're if you're an NBA fan, you should be happy of the situation that you're in right now with this collection of talent. You should be very happy where you're at right now.
Okay. All right, real quick. What will happen more likely than not? The beginning of another Spurs title in Dynasty or the ghost of Willis Reed, along with the 70s, finally vanishes from New York? What will happen this NBA Finals?
Spurs and 6. I know the Knicks got the sweep. I know they're rested, but I look at matchups. I'm not worried about the Spurs in terms of like just being the least, the lesser of the two as far as like getting rest. I look at matchups and I see Wemby, I see Castle, I see Fox, I see Harper, I see Champagnie, I see all these guys that can run, that can shoot, that can defend, that can play make. They are a collection of one right now. And even though the Knicks are playing like the best ball we've seen from a playoff team in a long time, the Spurs, I just feel like right now are a different level. I got Spurs in 6.
Flash.
I'm more with kind of PSP on this. I think the Knicks can actually beat them. I don't. Do I think it's a little bit of a long shot? Kind of, but I don't think it's as long as people think. I think the Knicks are going to have to play almost perfect basketball. No, I think the Knicks are really good. I think they're really, really good. I don't see why they can't beat San Antonio. I mean, again, the Knicks went toe-to-toe with every team. Then the last 2 years, like a couple bounces either way, and they're one of the teams in the finals too. I don't see why. Now, do I think that San Antonio right now, after winning a Game 7 series against OKC, is going to be riding high? Yes, yes, I think that's a very big possibility. But I think I'm going to say Spurs in 7, but really, really close. Really, really close. I think this is going to be a really great finals because there's so much at stake here. I think that's what makes this series interesting. There's so much at stake. We just got done with the conversation about the Wemby era right now. Like, are we in the start of that? If the Knicks somehow, what would be it'd be fascinating to have the Knicks, who this is like, we talked about last week. This is the title that means more in sports right now than any other title, or would mean more to any other franchise. That there wouldn't mean more than to any other franchise than the Knicks win the NBA Finals. Can you imagine if the Knicks are the ones that halt the Wemby era, and how even bigger that would be?
That would be huge.
Yeah. I just think it's there, and I as much as everybody just wants to say Brunson's not that guy, I don't know. The whole like that he's too short or whatever. I don't know. I want to see how this goes. I think seeing Cat on the main stage is going to be interesting. I just think I actually like their matchups a little bit. I actually think their matchups, especially in the backcourt, are well. I think Cat, unless he shrinks in the moment, which is what I'm worried about. I think he actually matches up okay with San Antonio. Defensively, of course, he's always a liability. That's going to be the problem. But I don't know. I kind of like what I see. I'm kind of curious. And I don't know who I'm really rooting for right now. But I'm going to say San Antonio in 7, but close.
You thinking.
Whose mic's crackling?
Damn. Go New York, go New York, go.
Really?
Yes.
You mean an LA guy too?
I want to see this. I want to see New York break the curse, man. I've seen a lot of curses being broken. I've seen a lot of them. I saw the curse of the Bambino finally being broken. I saw the curse of, my Georgia Bulldogs. We had won in over 40 years, us going back to back. I finally saw, after the Bobby Cox era, my Atlanta Braves win one after 1995. The biggest thing about this generation of New York Knicks fan, they have literally no connection to that 70s team. They have no connection. Nobody was all the young men who were young men back in the 70s. They are, let's face it, they're very, very much older than we are. They don't have that to hold on to. At least as a child, I was able to say, hey, I saw the Braves win something in 1995. I saw the Braves win it in 1995. And when you think about a lot of the curses that are disappearing all over sports, then, that's one I want to see disappear. I want to see that disappear. And that will mean a lot for the NBA. That will be the largest market in the NBA, Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden winning in the NBA title, the biggest market would be very, very amazing.
I'm kind of with Champ where I want to see it, but I also kind of want to see Wemby ascend at the same time. I really like this Spurs team. I like how they're so young. I like that Pop is still there mentoring I like their coach. I'm really torn on who to root for. Like this might be one of those series that like I'm going to be sad whoever loses. Like I'll be disappointed. Maybe not sad, but disappointed.
I won't go that far because I'm still kind of like I'm happy that the Knicks made the finals, but the fans the fans to an extent they still get on my damn nerves. But I'm happy. Like I said, I've said it before. When the New York Knicks are playing good ball and they're a championship contender, the league is better, and I think we all kind of have come to a consensus agreement on that. But this is what I'll say as far as the finals are concerned. For me, the two biggest X factors for me as far as the Knicks winning this series are OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. No, Mikal Bridges. No, OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, because this cannot be a handicap match. This cannot be Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns against the San Antonio Spurs, because if it turns into that, they're losing in 5. OG, one of the biggest reasons why the Knicks have been as dominant as they've been since they went down 2-1 in Atlanta has really been OG Anunoby and his ability to just get buckets out of nowhere. And then Mikal Bridges is starting to show up and starting to get buckets himself. They both have to show up in this finals or the Spurs are winning in 5, because you're not winning a handicap match against the San Antonio Spurs. You're not doing it.
No, that I agree with. Like you're not going to be I just think they can win. Not that they will. I just think they can.
You know what? Just ran across a good article real quick. What happened in 1999, last time that the New York Knicks and the Spurs were in the finals? Michael Jordan had retired for the second time.
Mm-hmm.
Karl Malone had won the MVP for the second time.
Mm-hmm.
The lockout was shortened to 50 games. Remember the lockout season? It was shortened to 50 games.
Right.
The Rockets had Hakeem Olajuwon, Charles Barkley, and Scottie Pippen. The reigning champs, Chicago Bulls, finished last in the East. Allen Iverson led the league in scoring. The Knicks went to the NBA Finals from an 8th seed, and the Spurs won the finals. So I'll say go New York, go New York, go, because I want to see a curse broken. I need to see another curse broken. And I want to see, look, New York is the mecca of basketball. It's the mecca. You know, Kareem, you name it, Rucker Park, all of that. You know, Earl the Goat Menego, all of that. I want to see that curse broken, and I want to see New York have something for a change. I want to see them have some. Now, like, I'm not an apologist for New York. I am from Georgia, but I want to see New York celebrate something outside of the damn Yankees. You know, they've always had something to celebrate with the Yankees, the New York Rangers, you know, the Islanders. They've had something to celebrate with every single team, even the Mets at a certain point. But they never had that celebration with the Knicks. Hell, they even won one a couple of years ago with the New York Liberty. If everybody remember that.
Like the Knicks are kind of like the Mets to me. Same colors. And it's just like they're at the point, like they're the two New York teams that don't make me like automatically, you know, recoil and cringiness. Like, ugh, fuck them again. Like they're on the level of the Cubs when it comes to like a snake bitten franchise. Before the Cubs won the title, or Boston, the Red Sox, before they won the title in 2004. Like, I mean, there's just so. It's just one of those things where I just would love to see it, and I think I don't know. I think, and I think to go against somebody like a Wemby to do it would be, kind of cool. You're going to go against the best player in the league, a physically imposing individual that a Goliath that you can't stop. There's no way they can stop him, and there's no hope. And I think the fact that I think it'd just be a cool story. I would love to see it. I would. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of like when the Red Sox, came back 3-0 against the Yankees. Like, it had to happen that way. Like, it just had to happen that way. Like, there's no, and then you knew that they were going to win this World Series. Like, there was no stopping that team after that. Like, it was just like a foregone conclusion they were going to win the World Series. So, yeah, I don't know. I want to see it. I'm curious. I'm looking forward to this final. I will say, it's been a couple of years since I've really looked forward to an NBA Finals, and I'm really looking forward to this NBA Finals.
I can't wait to see this finals. Like I said, and these are two very, very historic franchises in the NBA. The New York Knicks, very historic, the largest market in the NBA. The San Antonio Spurs, a franchise that, although they're the small markets, you love to see them win. It's hard to root against them. Although we call them the New England Patriots of basketball, it's hard to root against the Spurs. It's like it's one of those franchises where if they win too much, you still want to see them win, no matter what. So
I also want to. Sorry, go ahead, Champ.
And I want to see Wemby win one, but like I stated, I want to see Wemby win one, but I want to see New York win one batter. I want to see New York win one batter. Like I stated, to see New York suffer for so long in basketball is equivalent to see Cleveland Browns suffer so long in football. That's the equivalency of it. I mean, and the thing is, it wasn't because they were bad teams. It was just like when you think about the 90s, they ran into dynasties like back to back to back. Every time they were going for a championship, they ran into dynasty. The first time they was trying, the early 90s, they ran into the Spurs. The second, they ran into the Bulls in the early 90s, the conference championships. Then, in the middle of that dynasty, being gone, where Jordan retires. Oh, man, we got a chance to win the game. Now, we had to deal with the Houston Rockets, ran into that one. Then we thought the very next year we're going to go back. Instead, Reggie Miller comes out there and put on a show, and Patrick Ewing misses that wide open layup that he had. Then you get to the late 90s. Jordan comes back, and then you get beat to sleep again. Then you think, okay, Jordan retires for a second time. Okay, we beat the Indiana Pacers in one of the most important games in the history of New York, only to run into the Twin Towers, no pun intended, in the form of the San Antonio Spurs in the form of Tim Duncan and David Robinson, the beginning of one of the best dynasties in the history of the game. So I've ran into dynasties back to back to back in the 90s when I was at my best. Now I'm ready to eclipse that. I'm ready to step out of the 70s. All the old heads that are left at this point talked about how Walt Frazier was, how Willis Reed loved, Dave the Butcher was, Bill Bradley was, Senator Bill Bradley. Let me say his name respectfully. But I never got a chance to see that. I only know heartbreak. Not to mention, dealing with a fucking owner like James Dolan is not an easy task when you have a guy kicking out his own former players out of the arena and kicking out fans, because they told him to sell the team, which the biggest thing that he ever could have did, the best thing he ever could have did was step his ass all the way out the way and let people get in there and get their jobs done. And to his credit, he did that. But, hey, glad to do that. I just want to see New York win. But let's double back to that question. Who is under the most pressure in this NBA Finals?
I also kind of think we're due for a really good finals, too. We haven't had a really good – I don't think last year was a great finals because of all the injuries. The last great finals we had was like 2016 with the Cavs and the Warriors. That was the last really good finals we had.
No, 2019 was good. The Raptors and the Warriors, that was good. I like that.
Because again, we had Clay go out with the injury, and so did KD.
Yeah, Clay go out. You had KD go out. You had
that was still that. But that was still a really good series.
team was
No.
decimated.
That was still a really good series. That was
Once
still a really good
once
series.
Clay went down, and then KD, it was over. Like that was, and it was like again, it's kind of like last year with Indiana when what's his face blew out his kid. You just knew. Like I mean the Lakers and Heat in the bubble that whole play. This is a bubble. It was weird. Whatever you had well, I take that back. Well, Bucks and Phoenix was okay because the Bucks went down 2-0.
Bucks and Phoenix was good.
That was a good series. That like especially Game 6 was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, the best closeout game in the history of the NBA.
Yeah, that's probably like I mean that's peak Giannis right there. You know, Golden State and Boston. Boston was still really young at that point. Golden State and Curry was just on fire that year. Nuggets and Heat was 4-1. Boston Dallas was 4-1. I know last year was 4-3, but we've just had a lot of like 4-2s and 4-1s. Like I want like a San Antonio Miami Heat 2013 where you're going 7 games and it's just like you're glued to the TV. Like I want one of those. But as for who's under the most pressure,
Yep.
I think it has to be Wemby, right? Like he's the guy. He's the best player in the league now. That's what we all kind of agree on. Like if he doesn't win the finals and he loses to this Knicks team that most people think that can't do it, you know, it's inevitable. As much as I'm not going to agree with it, they're going to say, "Well, can he win the big one?" You know, at 22 years old. So I would say Wemby would probably be under the most pressure. The Knicks are the Knicks. I don't. If they lose, it's just going to be it's the Knicks. Like it's what they do, right?
Yeah, I guess. I guess when you look at the height and Victor Wembanyama is what he's coming in with. I guess he's definitely one of the prime like candidates here. But I think well, I don't want to say he's under a lot of pressure, but Mike Brown coming in after Thibodeau, I think does bring like some like to be able to get here. I think it's kind of like, you know, him needing to, you know, even though Thibodeau had his troubles and all that stuff, he was still a really, really good coach and got them to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. I think there's pressure on him. He needs to validate that, you know, them firing him. I think he has to an extent, but it would be nice to kind of put that cherry on top. I think Mike Brown has a little pressure on him. Yeah, I guess. I think the most is probably, I would say, Wemby, but I also think he's shown to be the kind of player that thrives under pressure like this. So I think he'll be fine. But yeah, I have to co-sign with a Flash on that. I think it is Wemby.
I'll have to say Wemby as well, because, you know, he's supposed to be the face, and, you know, once the face that everybody sees gets there, everybody wants to see him win. And there's going to be a lot of conversations if he doesn't win, especially in San Antonio where winning is the standard. So I have to say that. Real quick, I know we're supposed to stay about the W at this point. We're supposed to stay at basketball, but we're going to switch gears into wrestling. What do you guys think about the Clash of Italy at this point? What are your thoughts?
What the heck is that?
I don't know. We got interruptions everywhere. Live TV, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize.
All right, my bad.
No. I think. See, like I said, yeah, loudness in the background. There you go. I think Clash was good. But I've said this before. I think like the 5 to 7 match PLE is kind of where Triple H tends to thrive on, as far as like getting the best quality matches, and then being able to tell stories during that show. It was, I mean, top to bottom, Clash was good. There wasn't a bad match on the card. I will say this though, I didn't care for the Cody Gunther ending. I didn't really care for that too much, because now you know they're gonna run it back which is fine. I mean, they tore it down. They had a really good match to kick off the show, but I didn't like that. They didn't need to do that to get a rematch out of those two, if you know what I'm saying. Like Gunther putting his leg under the rope and then Cody pulling it from there to get the 3 count. You know, they didn't need to add that layer of controversy to that match. So, but like I said, the match still killed it to kick off. I mean, shout out to the Italian crowd. Like America, take notes.
Do better.
Take notes and watch these European crowds at these PLEs, because a lot of times American PLEs aren't that good because the crowd doesn't stay hyped from beginning to end. That Turin, Italy crowd was amazing, from Cody Gunther all the way to Roman and Jacob. I mean, they were on fire the entire. This is how on fire that Italian crowd was. When in the hell have you ever heard a sing-along to Brock Lesnar's theme song?
Not Barry.
Never. You've never heard a sing-along to Brock Lesnar's theme song. They pulled off a sing-along to Brock Lesnar's theme song. And shout out to that match too. That was exactly what it needed to be, because you knew we were going to get a third match. That was just 8 minutes of hell. And Oba still coming out looking good. Because, I mean, that spot where he takes the F5 through the announce table, and then he just sits up like the Undertaker and just stands up at 7. And I'm just like, like it was great, because you knew he was going to lose, but it was just kind of like Brock Lesnar was going to have to literally put him down to win. So now you know you're going to get a third match at SummerSlam. Jay Rhea was. Yeah, that was probably Jay's best match in WWE. I mean, they have really good chemistry. They do. They seem to have really, really good chemistry. And both of their matches have the WrestleMania match was good, was one of the better matches of the 2 nights. Like their match today was really good. I mean, there's nothing more you can say about them. They have really, really good chemistry with each other. Becky and Soul, I would probably say the worst match of the 5, but it was still a good match.
Decent, yeah.
It was still a good match. It was still a decent match. Right call. Definitely the right call. Putting the belt on Soul Ruka was the right call.
Even though she's been struggling a little bit on Raw.
I kind of felt the result like that coming, because we have to take, because it's one of the, it's kind of like it's like an added kind of like sports thing, because it's like, the reason why I say that is like, you might have like a football team that's like struggling, that that came out the gate 0-2 or something like that, but their 2 losses were like 2 of the best teams in the league. So the schedule's kind of skewed because they started off a competition right out the gate. When you look at Sol Ruka, I mean, her first 2 main roster matches were literally the women's world champion in Liv Morgan and a multi-time world champion in Io Sky. So I
don't mind her losing her first 2 matches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't mind that. I just think she had some botches in there. I do think her finishing move, while spectacular, and it's one of the most unique finishing moves ever, I do think she needs to come up with something else to supplement that, because it's such a difficult move to pull off consistently. And if you're not going to be like where she was in NXT, they had the benefit of practicing a lot more. And, I just think that she's going to have to come up with another move to supplement that as a finisher. I'm with Flash. She needs something. If anything, save the Soul Snatcher for like big matches, title matches. Yes.
When you really need to pull it out, save it for those. But for Raw, SmackDown, even your Saturday, even your Saturday night's main event to a lesser extent, just like something. Because I mean, she's tall. She's obviously got some strength to her. Just something a little more ground based that could kind of get you through And then when it's time to pull that soul snatcher out for like a big time moment, then you pull that bad boy out. Yeah,
because that should be one of the few finishers, in my opinion. That's a one and done. You don't like it. That's why you save it, I think, because now the big thing is like, oh, everybody kicks out of 14 finishers, and it's like, to me, there's got to be. I'd like some finishers that actually are just one and done. And to me, if she creates another like offset move, another finisher for the like that, I think that would supplement that, and then she could pull out the soul snatcher, where it would just be, again, fantastic. It'd just be like, oh, that's over. Like, if let's say she's going against Charlotte for the world title at WrestleMania, and you haven't seen that move in 6 months. And to finally put Charlotte away, she hits the snow, or Rhea or whatever, Liv Morgan, like, dude, the insane pop you would get from that, like, that's what that move should be.
Exactly. I 1,000% agree with Flash. That move needs to be protected at one time.
Yes.
At all times. That needs to be protected. That's like Kenny Omega, one winged angel. That's like Will Ospreay pulling out the Tiger Driver. That's like, Stone Cold, Stone Cold. That's like when I
pulling out the $1 billion dream.
Like when I hit you with this, you're not getting up. Like it needs like, yeah, I'm with Flash. It needs like that level of protection. When I hit you with this, you are not getting up. So yeah. I'm with him on that.
As for Obafemi and Lesnar, I mean, like the whole, what did he hit him with? Like 7 F5.
He hit him with 7.
I think that's a little, like Champ and I talked about it before he got on air, before you came. I think it's a little ridiculous. I think they're a little over the top with it. Like, I know you have to have filler because, they're not going to have a technical wrestling match to a certain extent, but at the same time, it's like, all right, a little much. But I do love the fact that Lesnar went over. I said that months ago before they had the WrestleMania match. I thought Lesnar should go over at WrestleMania. I think this is actually the right move to have Obafemi go over at WrestleMania and then have Lesnar come back and do the win, because now you can do the rubber match at SummerSlam and have Lesnar retire properly in Minnesota. I also think that if all the people complaining on why Obafemi lost and he shouldn't lose, it's like, if he doesn't lose, you run into a Goldberg problem.
You do.
This is why I said back then, I said Lesnar has to beat him, because if Lesnar doesn't beat him, the only person that can take him out is Roman Reigns, essentially.
And he's in the King of the Ring tournament.
Yes. So, like, that's kind of my point. Like, you have to make it believable that he can lose. So, in some form or fact, that's why I think the 7 F5 is a little excessive. Like, do 2 or 3. Like,
no, 2, no,
okay,
not for Ogle. No, not for Ogle.
Yeah, you got it. You have to make it, because you have to again, it's like the Cody Rhodes three Cody cutters. Like, it's stupid. It gets to the point where, again, I want finishers to come back. And I think when you do it at 7, I think that's excessive.
No, but if you're building Obafemi as your next final boss of the WWE to take the throne from Brock Lesnar, you have to make it a little cartoony to take him out. I mean, that's why I don't have a problem with it.
But you can be cartoony without going overboard. Like, I think you can still go. I think you can still be.
I agree. I agree. Had they had more of a wrestling match and Brock showed different forms of offense outside of the F5 and the Kimura, I mean, he only hit him really with those. Like, if he really like put a beating to him, like in some of his matches where he actually will throw hands and do some other stuff, I could see that. But when you're only throwing out the F5, yeah.
Again, it's just my opinion. I guess I'm yearning for the days of a little bit more where the finishers meant something, and I also I want a little bit of believability. I know this is scripted. I'm 44 years old. I get this, but I want a little bit. Bring a little bit of the kayfabe. Let's kind of. I do love how it sets it up, though. I'm curious how they're going to do a SummerSlam match. Do you do something extreme? Do you
Yeah,
do
yeah. This is yeah. You have to.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it sets up something really, really good. I don't want them to push Obafemi too quickly either. This is why I kind of like this being drawn out. That's what I hated Vince for. A guy would pop and then he'd push him to the title, and they would just so like let's earn the Obafemi title win. Like let's have him win the Intercontinental title. Let's have him win the tag titles with somebody, and then let's have it be a year or two before he's the champ.
Nah, I'm not putting him in the tag team. I'll give you an Intercontinental title, but I'm not.
I'm just saying, like
I know you give it.
You know what I'm saying? Like let's have him. Can he have a journey? Do you know what I'm saying? You know, like you go back to like Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was a tag champion, and then he was an Intercontinental champion for a year. You know, and then it was a journey. It's you know, I want to see a journey. I don't want to get force fed it immediately because that's how people will turn on him.
Yeah, they'll turn on him quick.
Yeah,
and
if you force feed him.
And look, to your point,
he's great on the microphone though. I think that's one of my biggest differences as far as like people turning on him. Because I think a lot of times when people get turned on, there's something there. I mean, I can't really say that. So
no, they do. Look, like when Daniel Bryan finally won the title, everybody turned on him like a month after it. It's just the fans now. It's what most wrestling fans do. As soon as they get what they want, they whine and cry about it. And it's just like the same thing with, as soon as Roman Reigns, they were crying about Roman Reigns being a part-time champion. As soon as he lost a month later, everybody's crying for him. It's just like, oh, God.
Bring him back.
Bring him back.
Yeah, kind of like a bad girlfriend. The minute you stop taking her to work, she wants to take her work again.
But I will say this though, as far as the Roman thing, I think they did a masterful job with him as far as like the losing the title and then just the journey back. I actually think they did a masterful job with him. Like the fans could kick rocks on that. They did a masterful job with him because I was one of those making videos saying like, okay, he's got nobody else to beat. There's nobody else there. Let's go ahead and get it off of him. And then just seeing just going from like SummerSlam, him coming back to where he is now. I think they did a masterful job with him. And now he's like,
I still like it. I wish they would have held out him. I mean, I was there when he returned in Cleveland. I still wish they would have held out a little bit low, like have him be away for a while, you know, and then because it was so telegraphed, like everybody knew it was going to happen. And I like being surprised. I don't like being told things when it comes to it. But I also, the thing that I want though, I want the bloodline to turn on him and side with Jacob Fatu.
That would definitely be That's what I want. Know what?
I thought that was going to happen.
I like that idea.
That's what I thought was going to happen last night. I thought there was a legit chance that Jacob Fatu was going to win the title. Now there are rumors that he got hurt really bad, something happened or whatever, and he might not be in a wrestle last night. So, but I really thought that the way you flip the script on Roman, depending on what their plans are going forward when it comes to WrestleMania, SummerSlam, et cetera, you know. If it's The Rock, then we'll see. Although, if and I know we all roll our fucking eyes when it comes to The Rock, but if and I'm booking,
you bring him back,
and you're finally gonna do Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania in April next year. You know what you do? Is you have the bloodline turn on Roman. And side with the Rock. And then you just play it along and then you have Roman chase the title. Until about like the Rumble. Okay. In the Rumble, you finally have Roman.
I wouldn't have him win it again though.
No, you wouldn't even have him win. You didn't even have to win.
Oh, you'd have him winning the title at the Rumble?
Not well, I don't think you'd even need Rock Roman for the title. It can be. But you could do this two ways. You could do Roman. You could do Roman finally getting you can say Jacob Fatu goes over at SummerSlam, wins the title, and the bloodline turns on him. That's what causes Roman to win. Now it's Roman's chasing the title. And now the tables are turned. He has to go through the bloodline instead of the bloodline. Like, it'd be beautiful story making. Like, it'd just be beautiful.
It
and
would
then
be.
you have him either, you go one of two ways. If you want Rock and Roman for the title at WrestleMania, then you have Roman finally beat. You finally have Roman finally beat Jacob Fatu at the Royal Rumble, and maybe have like Cody help him or something like that, like something to tie the whole thing in.
And the greatest thing about it, if you do Rock Roman at WrestleMania 43 in Saudi, if you want to do it, you have no choice but to make it tribal combat right off the bat.
Absolutely,
it's got to be for everything.
So then
it's got to be for everything.
Save the Cody interference, which comes full circle everything for WrestleMania to help Roman obviously put down The Rock. But I mean, the again, I want to see Roman on his own and what it's like to see him chase. Somebody.
Flash got the script, y'all. Flash got the script.
Just saying.
Y'all should roll. I actually think that's a killer idea. I personally think that's a great idea. Because, and another thing that ties into it, why I really like your idea, Roman's, like that interview, the promos that he was cutting at Clash today, Roman's starting to get that heel head back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's starting to get that heel head back. I mean, he's still a babyface. And there was he cut that promo where he was like, I'm trying to, all the people talking trash about him, like, I'm trying to do this the right way. I'm trying to shine a positive light on my legacy. Y'all forcing my hand. He's starting to get a little bit of that heel head back. It would be, if you want to keep him as a true, he's not even a babyface for me. Like in that anti-hero kind of babyface, this would be the perfect way to do it. This would be the perfect way to do it.
Or if you literally want to legit turn him babyface, because he could be that Austin figure at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's a baby face, but he acts as a heel. So then he has to run through the whole bloodline to get to, because then you have matches and you save Fatu and him till the Rumble. You have him make him go through everybody else.
Yeah.
You basically do what WCW was going to do with Goldberg with the fucking poke of death.
The poke of death.
The plan was have him run through the whole SWO.
The finger poke of doom. Yeah.
The finger poke of doom or whatever. This is what you obviously you don't do that part, but that's what you do. So now you have him go through the whole bloodline.
You
rope Sammy into this too.
You could if you wanted. You could if you wanted to. Yeah. It would be like a full circle moment. And let me tell you something. Any excuse to see, I'm trying to remember what year that TLC was when they was in Boston. Any excuse to see, I think it was 2015. Any excuse to see 2015 TLC Roman Reigns for 6 or 7 months just destroying the company, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Have him go full Austin. Because you have that whole thing, but because if you reveal The Rock in some sort of fashion, it's very much like the Vince McMahon thing. He's part of the TKO board.
It's me, Austin. It was me, Austin.
Yeah.
All along.
You could do the same thing with The Rock. It would just be. It would.
That's
be
fire. That's fire.
And again, if you can get The Rock to fucking commit to this, it would be epic. It would be, because the one problem with the Bloodline storyline is that it was never really wrapped up. The ending to it never really ended. It just kind of it didn't. Solo was never the guy. That was the problem.
No, exactly. The end game always has been and always will be Roman Reigns. It always has been and it always will be.
You couldn't do Solo because that was the rumor too. Before they brought Jacob in, they knew he was going to overshadow him, and he did. And Solo, and on top of it, the way they booked Solo is you have to have him win matches to have him be a threat. So if he keeps losing to fucking Cody, he's not going to be a fucking threat. You have to have him win something.
Exactly.
So this is why if they run this back for SummerSlam, they have to put the title on Jacob Fatu. They have to. Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to, because I have a sneaky feeling whoever wins the King of the Ring is going to challenge Roman at SummerSlam. I just have this sneaky feeling. I just have this sneaky feeling.
Yeah.
No,
know
Well,
what?
I mean, I think Jacob's in the tournament too. So I mean, it's possible. It's possible.
can you imagine a King of the Ring final between Jacob Fatu and Obafemi? Because
Boy,
I
they
think
would shut that place down.
I think again, I think currently right now you keep Oba away from the world title for a while. I think the Jacob Fatu thing is way better. Just as a whole for the WWE as a storyline in general, Obafemi doesn't have a story yet. There's no story to tell.
No, indeed not.
Yeah. There's nothing to tell. It's just I'm Oba, I'm good, and I beat people. It's not interesting. As much as I love Oba, and I've come to really love what he does, there's no story there yet. The story to tell is the Bloodline storyline, and to finally finish that up. That's the story to tell.
I think this is how you get there. This is how you get there. Hear me out. If you want to wrap up everything up in a bow, the final should be Oba and Jacob.
It should be.
Jacob wins, interference by Brock. You set up SummerSlam.
Yeah. Or you could have the Bloodline help Jacob.
Or have the Bloodline help Jacob. Either one of the two.
That sees that starts the whole. It doesn't have to be like an aggressive help him out, but they come down to the ring for some, and then it distracts Oba, and then somehow whatever. So it's not a full on turn yet, but the seeds are planted. And now the fact that Oba lost to Lesnar, it looks realistic that he can lose. Again, you have to set up the story. So
and if you go that route, I still feel like you have to bring Brock into this some way to establish them doing this third match anyway.
Yes.
Okay, so if he doesn't interfere in the match, have him beat the daylights out of him after the match. Do something.
I think Jacob Fatu is. I think he has to win this. That's the story to tell.
I'm kind of
Bloodline turning on Roman is the story, because if we just see Bloodline Roman for the next year or 2 years, I don't want to see that again. I don't. It's boring. It's not
they milking it. They milking that shit dry.
They're milk it dry, and it's like I don't. You need to tell the story. Finish the. I hate to say this with the code. Finish the story.
I think that would it would be the ultimate monkey wrench, but also I definitely think it would really give life. It would give life to it, because now it's feeling like redundant.
Yes.
Roman and the Usos back together. He beats Jacob and gets Jacob to fall in line. I think I like the idea of them introducing Solo and the MFTs back in it a little bit, just to kind of give it a little bit of spice, because it gives it a little bit of spice, because it teases the idea. Even though I know some people are going to be like, I don't want Jacob and Solo back together again. Honestly, it kind of makes sense,
because if you have The Rock in the background,
as the big old puppet master,
then you have to pull him again. You could do the whole. Bring Solo in it and NFTs, so you could pull in Sammy. Sammy right now is dead in the water as it is, as a character. There's not much for him to do right now. They haven't really known what to do since they separated him from the Bloodline. They kind of he's just been kind of twisted. They've been teasing him going heel a little bit. I don't know if I haven't been watching as much as I usually do.
He kind of has. He kind of pulled the heel move with Gunther putting Cody in the sleeper and him just letting him die, basically. So yes. they've kind of that. I think that was kind of his heel turn right there.
Yeah, and so they're slowly building to that. So if you're gonna go full on heel, you could, now that Roman's the baby face, then you could have
Ooh, that's an interesting dynamic there.
Then you could have him all of a sudden Roman's gonna beat Fatu at Survivor Series or something or whatever pay-per-view. He's about to and he's taken out all the rest of the Bloodline, and nobody's left. Nobody's left. All of a sudden Sammy comes out and ruins it. It would be full circle storytelling, and it would be magical. WWE, fucking give me a call. My email's my last name, Kortsch, KORTSCH @gmail.com. Send me an email. Just saying.
You know what? We'll end it on that note. Next week, I'm going to get this power struggle in Indiana a chance to play out a little bit more before we talk about it, because I want to see it just a little bit more before we dive into it. I don't think we should just dive into it after one game, but we're going to dive into a little bit more WNBA next week, because after that segment, you just can't top anything else. But any last words for you guys?
WWE, get your shit together so I can start watching consistently, because your product's been awful lately, and everybody's kind of dogging it right now. So last night, use it as a springboard. You have the better production, you have the better talent. Now do it. Now just tell stories. Tell the good stories. They're there. Do it.
Yeah, he ain't kidding, because AEW's like AEW for like the last year plus, boy. They've been on one.
Yeah,
they've been on one. They got AEW's got so much good stuff going on, like the Death Rider story, which I thought was like the worst story in pro wrestling. Now all of a sudden one of the best stories in pro wrestling with the Will Ospreay angle to it. You got Kevin Knight going heel, which was amazing. Just so much good stuff going on right now. Yeah, WWE needs to use Clash in Italy as a springboard to get back to what they were doing 22, 23, 24, when they were just like when the TV was just like peak. They need some type of spark to really kind of, they need that kick in the butt. They need something. I hope Clash would do it, because Clash was for it to only be 5 matches. Clash is probably, if I had to rank the pay-per-view so far, I still think WrestleMania Sunday right now is PLE of the year, but then I would go then I would probably go Backlash, and then I would go today, Clash in Italy. I probably would, in terms of just overall enjoyment from beginning to end. Yeah. That's how I rank them right now. I still think WrestleMania Sunday is like the best show of the year so far. Even though I don't know, WrestleMania Sunday this year was just, they couldn't have done WrestleMania Sunday any better.
Yeah. One quick question before we end it all. Do you think that 2-day shows need to just be limited to just WrestleMania? Because I really do think that it should be just limited to WrestleMania. I don't think it should be any other 2-day. It's a 2-day show should be something special. It's like, okay, we have a 2-day show for WrestleMania, unless it's this big, huge event, like, like let's say if they bring black, let's say if they have like Starcade in order to pay homage to WCW. I really think that they should have WrestleMania as every other pay-per-view event is just one day. I don't think they should have any other 2-day events.
I'm okay with SummerSlam being a 2-day, but that's it. I'm okay with WrestleMania, and I'm okay with SummerSlam, because I feel like SummerSlam has really kind of, the luster WrestleMania has kind of lost a little bit. SummerSlam has gained. So I'm cool with WrestleMania and SummerSlam being 2-day events. I think they're the two right now going, even with Royal Rumble and Survivor Series. I think WrestleMania and SummerSlam right now are the 2 biggest shows of the year. I'm okay with those 2 being 2-day, because SummerSlam has kind of caught up to WrestleMania in terms of just sheer quality and excitement and just extravagance. I'm okay with WrestleMania and SummerSlam being 2-day, but those are the only 2 I'm cool with being 2-day. Only 2 I'm cool with being 2-day.
Yeah, it has to be on those only 2. And going back to my point, like, make me want to spend the money to go to SummerSlam this summer. Like, I want to go again. So but yes, I think it should be WrestleMania and SummerSlam. If you don't do SummerSlam and it's just WrestleMania, I think that's okay too.
I do too.
Like, I think that's fine. I don't. It doesn't have to be SummerSlam. It doesn't have to be that. I'm just kind of curious.
You could do the Royal Rumble and have each Royal Rumble match main event each night. You could do it. You can do it. The main thing is how much talent are you willing to put on the event in order to do a 2-night Royal Rumble? That's why I think it should only be WrestleMania and SummerSlam, because I feel like those are the hottest 2 times of the year where the most talent is going to get on TV, which is why I think it should only be those 2.
Yeah.
All right. And on that note, we will end it there. We will see you back next week. Anything y'all want to add before we leave here?
Shout out to my crew right here. Just shout out to everybody, because everybody knows I've been had a lot of stuff going on. Like I'll pop up on a couple of shows and I'll take some time off, whether it's tragedy in the family, or getting my daughter. Just a lot of stuff been going on with me. But shout out to everybody who's like supported me, had my back, message me, check in on me, see how I'm doing. The mental's good. The mental is definitely good. So shout out to everybody. And just hey, regardless of what times we're living in, keep on loving on your people. I'm gonna take a line from Champ. Check on your people.
Exactly.
But just keep remember the, how can I say this? The purpose, the sole purpose while we here, just to enjoy life. Don't take nothing for granted, and just remember that you only get one first impression in life, so you got to make the most of it. So
one life to live.
Exactly. A topic not thought about is a topic not talked about. Shout out to everybody.
Yep. Flashman.
I think it's been fantastic. I think this is going to be a fantastic summer. It's good to be a little bit more consistent with the show lately. Hoping this continues. I'm looking forward to this summer and for a lot of reasons. Yeah, it's just good to be. Just good day. Good day. Let's continue the good days. I like good days. That's it.
Yes, indeed. On that note, we will holler at y'all. Shout out to Bobby G from New Orleans. I'm just playing, Mr. Bob. And shout out to his Cleveland Browns. Hoping y'all can get things done this year, man. Shout out to his Cleveland Browns, man. And I'm going to holler at y'all, man. Shout out to Rick Room Sports doing their thing on ESPN Radio. Shout out to Bobby G doing his thing out there in Vegas for his Cleveland Browns, for his Las Vegas Raiders. Shout out to Mr. G, man. And I gotta be on the Audible at least one time in the next couple of weeks, but we'll save that for another time. On that note, we are out. Holla.